All right, thank you so much for joining us on our 130th edition of Lunch Out Loud Ottawa. We are the podcast that talks to the people, places, events, and music that make this city the incredible city that it is. I'm all alone today as my co-host is still injured and in the hospital. Get well soon, Marty. We want to see you back. Before we get to our very special guest, Mr. Matt Vandenberg of Rideau Pines Farm and store.
And store, yes.
And
Market.
store.
Farmgate. Yes.
Farmgate.
Farmgate.
Why don't we check this out?
Hey, this is Tariq Anwar, and you're listening to Lunch Out Loud Ottawa. You'll be hearing some tracks from my last LP, Split Perspectives, which is available for download at tariqanwar.bandcamp.com. I also have some shows coming up at the Atomic Rooster on October 7th, 21st, and 31st. You can also find me at Facebook at facebook.com/TariqAnwarMusic. There are different spellings of my name, so I'll give you mine. It's TARIQANWAR. Cheers, everybody.
So I walked on down to the river, but I only found the lane. And I'm drifting further with the current. Please don't let me drift far away. The rain came down from the pale sky. It sees just what it wants to see. Well, it knows only what it wants to know. It's just gonna fly with the breeze. So I walked on down to the river, but I only found the lane. And I'm drifting further with the current. Please don't let me.
All right, thank you so much, Tariq. So awesome music. Love checking him out at the Atomic Rooster, where you can see him a lot. And he goes to so many events. Thank you so much, Tariq. That song was Drift Away. So you can get those 2 free albums for download. So how about that today, Matt? I'm just at Rideau Pines Farm, and we had the Parkdale Food Center.
Yes, we did. We did.
How many pounds of food do you think we got there?
At least, I'd say at least 800 pounds of potatoes.
800 pounds?
800 pounds of potatoes you guys picked up. We also picked at least, I'd say, 10 bushels of green tomatoes, let alone about 20 liters of sugar snap peas, probably another, about 15 t-shirt bags full of peppers. A t-shirt bag is basically, it's one of our measurements that we use here at our farm, which is just a grocery bag with a t-shirt handle, and that's it's kind of one of our measurements we go by.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And we also got, garbage bags full of kale.
Oh yes, don't forget the kale, the superfood.
We got the lavender.
Yes, the lavender. One of the ladies
Basil.
were making some soap.
Basil.
The lavender, yeah, basil. Hot peppers. Don't forget
peppers.
about your hot peppers.
Strawberries and raspberries.
Yes, strawberries.
And, I think that's about it.
Oh, and by the way, it's October 7th right now?
Yeah.
So that's pretty rare for picking strawberries and raspberries right now.
At this
time.
Is that global
I've never
warming?
In a way, yes, and I personally bring it on. You know?
and hey, they're still delicious. But
yes.
Seeing so many people from the Parkdale Food Center, which is one of the food banks in the city, some for the first time ever been on a farm. So it's
incredible.
And getting away from just downtown urban living, that Karen would come together and organize a trip where there's about 30, 40 people that came out. And so we just picked for 3 hours. And then we had a nice lunch and
big lunch.
Packed everyone away and sent everybody away.
Yeah, it's nice to see just the love of the appreciation to what we do here, because we usually don't get that feedback, and for people to be thankful for what we do, it's incredible.
Has that been going on for a very long time, or is this something that's kind of newer because it takes a certain...
Well, it's new old, farms like us, we're a 30-acre farm, and there was a lot of farms 20 to 30 years ago that did what we did. We're very diverse. We grew a lot of variety of things, but throughout time, we got into monoculture, which is big farms that just do cow corn and soybeans, and we lost a lot of the small, diverse farms along that way, and it's something we pride ourselves into, is the diversify of the products that we grow.
Yeah, like even with because it's pumpkin time, which I learned is a winter squash and shouldn't be any more special than others, and that you can make pumpkin pies with
Georgia Candy Roasters, with the kabocha squash, which is also known as the Grey Ghost. How many kinds of
squash do you have there?
We have over about 50. Yeah, I'd say we planted, there's a lot of variety of squash, but we planted about 15 varieties of squash this year.
Wow. Which
is basically the delicatas, the Grey Ghost, the porcelain dolls, the Georgia Candy Roasters, which are hilarious looking because these things are about 30 to 40 pounds, and they can feed someone for a month. And it's the taste variety in each of the squash is different. The texture of each of the squash, even the color, is different from each of the squash. So yeah,
so I'm like, people have to think about, you know, just going to the store and paying the $3 or $4 for one of those generic pumpkin ones and just, you know, trying with all these different squashes, have some fun with it.
Yeah.
Because Joanne from Red Apron was telling us you can mix and match different kind of squashes and get totally different kind of
tastes to it, for sure, and texture also too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's incredible. More of the to be aware of what they are is education to all of us.
Yeah.
I'm getting educated with dealing with Joanne, with the chefs and stuff like that. They teach me and I teach them, so it's a beautiful kind of symbiotic relationship that we have.
Yeah, and we'll talk about all the restaurants going on, but also I just wanted to ask about, do you have any other kind of groups that come in and pick for charities or like other food banks?
Actually, we do sometimes when we plant or stagger crops with cauliflower and stuff like that, and it all depends on Mother Nature. Everything could ripen at the same time. Then all of a sudden I'm sitting on about 400 cauliflowers. If that's the case, I will call the food bank. They'll come in and we will load their stuff up, and then they'll deliver it accordingly to where they have to.
Okay, right on. So just a couple questions about the farm. How has farming changed for you guys in the past 5 years? Because
almost about 8 years, I find right now.
8 years.
The local movement.
So it's been 8 years.
Yeah, because we've always been a pick-your-own farm, and it plateaued out for us in the early 80s and early 90s even, and even in the first of the 2000s. And now people are more aware where product comes from. So in my opinion, it's going up. You know, and it's phenomenal because we have to rely on that as a farmer. You know, and to see this local movement happening, it's wonderful. It should be where it is right now. Like, I don't know why it has never been like this before, because to know where your food comes from, you know, before we would just go to the grocery store, we never knew where it came from.
Yeah.
We never knew what it was sprayed with or anything like that. So that's why this local movement's excellent for this area.
And so diverse. So that brings in, you're up to what, 27 restaurants?
Yes, about 27 restaurants now in Ottawa.
And can you name maybe a couple that you don't think, or that people might not know enough about, that they are very farm table?
Oh, geez.
Because that's what this show is, to plug these restaurants that will, you know, go a little more of an extra distance to make
what I find with the restaurants is the ones that buy from us are the chef owners, the ones that have a passion of cooking and where food comes from. And it's a list, and I'm so fortunate to deliver to these restaurants. We got Gastropub, Allium, Absinthe, Piggy Market, Murray Street, all of Becta's restaurants, Town, Oz, Pomodoro House, holy jumping.
Think of your Friday run there.
Yeah, think of my Friday run. Here we go. Which ones have I?
What time do you wake up in the morning to get the run started?
Well, I like to pick the stuff day of. Like a lot of the stuff we can, like that is already picked and harvested, like our onions and potatoes and garlic is already up here. But the stuff like yellow beans and green beans and sugar snap peas, I like to pick the day of, just because the freshness, like broccolis and cauliflowers and peppers and tomatoes, and because you can't kid a chef, you know. And when you bring in, you like stick a pea in his mouth, and he's like, "Oh my God, that's awesome!"
Yeah.
You know. Like, well, that's what happened. Fresh pick that day, you know. So usually we pick, and I'll leave about noon, and then I'll get back to the farm, traffic pending, of course, about 5 o'clock or so.
On a Friday too, eh? You drive on that Friday traffic.
Fridays, Tuesdays. Now I'm on Mondays. Bridgehead started picking up our onions and squash now too.
Oh, wonderful!
So, yeah,
because they're doing a lot more. They're doing a lot more cooking. They've
yes,
expanded
exactly.
a bit.
Yeah, it's beautiful to see a company that size too pushing for local too.
How did they reach out to you, or did you reach out to them, or how would that kind of?
You know what? I have no idea. Yeah.
Is this kind of how you find it with new restaurants?
It's a lot of word of mouth.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then what's nice about the restaurants too is there's no animosity towards each other. Every restaurant recommends another restaurant.
Yeah.
And those are the restaurants that do well.
100%.
You know, it's beautiful to see that. So I think along the way, Bridgehead found our name, and then yeah.
Yeah, like I saw it this weekend at Beau's Oktoberfest. We had so much fun out there.
Oh, yes, we did.
And but all the restaurants were, having a great time together and having some drinks together.
Yeah, sharing food.
Yeah. You had tastes of almost every...
Yeah, it was pretty incredible.
Jeez.
Sausage eating contest didn't go so well, but...
Yeah, first one out.
First one out.
Whatever. My friend was about the second one out. How many employees are here full time?
Full time
during
the summer,
the
yeah, for sure. There's We have 3 full-time workers, and then we have 2 full-time workers up at our farm gate, and then it's me and my father, and then my mother also that does all the bookwork and stuff like that. So,
wow.
Yeah.
So very family oriented. From where in the Netherlands?
My father's from Friesland.
Friesland.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Northern Holland.
That's kind of the. Is that not the island? It's not the island.
No,
it's right
the seashell dunes around that area.
They have the horses up there.
Yes, and the dairy cows.
Okay, here's a question. Do we have finish this sentence? This year, Ottawa ate tons of. What was the go-to vegetable this year?
The go-to vegetable, good question, because I grow a lot of them. To see what the volume coming out this summer, that's a tough one. Or tomatoes, of course. Kale is phenomenal right now, and
lots of kale salads.
A lot of kale salads, a lot of heirloom tomatoes. A lot of heirloom tomatoes, yeah.
Because it's so simple.
Very much so.
So good.
The fall berries, too, like our fall raspberries. It's also a treat getting fall raspberries in now. That's always a big one. Every year kind of changes, and this kale thing that's happening right now, I'm glad that I planted accordingly, because that stuff is still, you can still pick it in the winter. The variety is called Winterboro, and it actually gets sweeter as it goes on. Kind of like with Brussels sprouts. They need a little zap of frost to release some sugars in it, and it alters the taste to be a little bit sweeter.
No way.
Yeah.
Did not know that. And speaking of the berries, I know you've done collaborations with Ashton Brewery.
Yes,
Have there been any other kind of collaborations this year since I volunteered here about a year ago?
Yeah. We did also another a pumpkin mash. So my mother, Quinn from ABC, asked my mother to cook pumpkins and actually... collect the mash, and then we freeze the mash, and then they come and pick it up for their pumpkin ale at this time right now. And to have real pumpkin mash in a pumpkin ale, it tastes really, really good.
Well, I didn't even know that one came out. So can I get that at some of the bars downtown?
Oh,
Quinn's?
Yeah, Quinn's, Patty's, Ashton Restaurant in Ashton. And they deliver to quite a few restaurants that are out there. So look them up and see what restaurants are out there. Because my poor mother just slaved in that oven there for probably about 10 hours making all that mash. So
hey,
it's made with love, you know.
That's a good one, because I know pumpkin beers are so popular right now. We're going to take a quick break right now, listen to a quick song from Tariq. This is Split Perspectives, and we'll be right back with Matt Vandenberg, brackets Coley, and we're going to talk a little bit about the events that are being held out here, as well as some other collaborations in the future that I can think of. We'll be right back.
If I were you, I would tell myself that I am wrong, and if I were you, I would tell myself that I shouldn't wait here for you.